Welcome to the very first episode of the Fine Finish Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and I'm happy to be here with you today, launching this brand new show. Before we dive into today's episode, let me tell you a little bit about what this podcast is and why we're excited to embark on this journey with you. You might wonder why we're starting this podcast. Well, the answer is kind of simple. The finishing industry is filled with incredibly talented individuals who often work behind the scenes out of the spotlight. Yet their stories, their experiences, and their expertise often go unnoticed. That's about to change with the Fine Finish Podcast. We're here to shine a spotlight on these professionals and to learn from their journeys and uncover the secrets behind their craft. Our guests will include some of the most talented contractors and experts in the industry, product manufacturers, and maybe even some TV show personalities. They'll share their stories, their insights, and their passion for their work. We'll explore the challenges they faced, the innovations they've embraced, and the trends shaping their fields. Whether you're a fellow professional looking to up your game, an aspiring contractor looking for guidance, or simply someone who appreciates the artistry of a well-finished project, this podcast is for you. So what can you expect from our episodes? We'll discuss the latest techniques, tools, and trends. We'll explore some of the science behind the finishes and the artistry that brings them to life. And most importantly, we'll get to know the people who make it all happen. I'm truly excited about the conversations we're going to have, the knowledge we're going to share, and the stories that we're going to uncover. It's going to be an incredible journey, and I'm excited that you're here joining us for it. Now, let's jump into our very first episode with a seasoned professional who's going to give us a glimpse into the world of finishing. Thanks for tuning in to the Fine Finish Podcast. Let's get started.
I go hard in them paint. Leave you stankin'. What the thinking? I won't die for
Hey finishers, it's Matt, and I'm joined today by Louis Jasso, owner of Fine Finish Supply. What's up, man?
What's up?
How's everything been going?
Oh man, it's going. It's hot as hell down here in Texas.
Yeah.
Trying to beat this heat wave in these 105-degree days.
Yeah. What, anything going on? Anything new?
Oh man, same old stuff. Just, always working and trying to help our customers and spread the knowledge. That's what I do on a daily basis, it seems like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is our first episode.
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of semi-wing it here, and we'll figure out the details later.
That's what we do best.
Yeah. We're going to, hopefully we have a lot more of these episodes, and we can dive into some exciting stuff, and we'll see what happens. So let's start with a little bit about you. What can you kind of share about your history of yourself, how you got into the industry, your passion for it,
Yeah.
how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in a finishing shop. People might hear me say that a lot, but I really did. So every summer after school, on the weekends, it wasn't really an option. It was kind of you're going to work. And my family did primarily furniture refinishing, office furniture refinishing. They would get whole floors of executive desks, credenzas, conference tables, stuff like that, and refinish them. A lot of it was just touch up and respray, like we called it. So bring in literally truckloads of furniture, clean it up, touch it up, and then reshoot lacquer. This was all pre-cat lacquer. So I grew up in that. Really, truly didn't want anything to do with it when I was out, on my own, I guess, as an adult. My dad's neighbor was in sales, outside sales, and I really kind of liked what he was doing, primarily because it didn't look like he was working that hard. He was always, just riding around, talking on the phone, writing stuff down, and, going out to lunch with people. And I kind of hit him up about, his path. And I already knew I wasn't going to go to college and high school was it for me. And luckily, I even graduated high school. That was a struggle just getting through it. But he gave me advice. He said, dude, if you want to get into sales, go sell cars. And I did. I went and sold cars. I actually got fired from selling cars because I wasn't old enough to be on the insurance. So, that was a trip, but I learned a lot from that. I had kids young. My son was born when I was 21. And I got into, another buddy of mine got me an outside sales position selling electrical supplies. Did that for a little bit. And then when my twins were born, when I was 23, I actually got removed from that position because I took time off and started my own business. I started doing window coverings actually because for some reason, I had gotten a job at a plantation shutter manufacturer. So I've had a lot of jobs. That's what I tell people. I didn't go to college, but I got a lot of experience working a variety of different sales jobs, and really, again, had no interest in the finishing aspect just because, I did it for so long and I never truly seen opportunity to make money. And mainly that's just because I was seeing what my family had done. I hadn't really seen what anybody else had done. And one day I was helping my dad deliver some furniture. We dropped the furniture off. Customer asked if we could refinish their door. My dad said, yep, we'll do it right now. $350, something like that. This was in our neighborhood. At that time, I was like 25 years old, I believe. And it quickly snapped that every door in our neighborhood was wood, and we had just refinished this door in an hour and made $350. So as a young father with 3 kids, I said, having some sales and marketing background at that point, I was like, man, there's opportunity here. And started doing what I knew how to do best, which was selling and marketing. But I also had the skill set in the finishing. So there I am back in the finishing industry. And that's how all of this kind of started.
Yeah. Okay. So after that, what was the next step? Did you start your own company?
Yeah, so it was actually kind of funny because we were supposed to go on vacation with my dad. We were going to Florida or something, taking the kids, and it was kind of a joke. Like, let's see how much money we can make doing doors just in the neighborhood, and see if it would pay for the vacation. And funny enough, I started posting on social media. Social media was really new. This was I would say like Facebook is like what TikTok is right now.
Yeah.
You could really grow a business on Facebook for free, and that's what I did. I think Facebook groups, maybe it was a thing. I think it was, but either way, after I started promoting it, I started, I want to say we put like 50 people literally on the schedule for 2 weeks. And within the first week, we had all the money to pay for the beach house. And then it was like, okay, let's see if we can put a couple $1,000s in our pocket for vacation. And it really blew up, and it was awesome. And from there, me and my dad were doing doors in our garage. We would go they were all in our neighborhood, so we would go pick up like 3 to 4 doors in the morning, take them back to his garage, strip them, sand them, stain them, hang them back up in the afternoon, and be done. And I mean, you could do the math between $350 to $500 a door, 4 doors, 3 to 4 doors a day, very, very little overhead. It was pretty profitable very quickly. And that's literally how my finishing company started. We kind of expanded from there. We got us a shop space. My dad and I worked together doing that with my wife, and that lasted about, I'd say, 2 years until we started bumping heads. But during that whole journey, I really I started deep diving into the things that they were doing. They were still using the same type of equipment that we were using when I was a kid, and once I was in control of actually like buying materials, buying equipment, it became very, very apparent that what they were doing and what they were using was very antiquated. And I went on a journey to try new stuff, try new equipment, try new products, try to get in front of, the technical salespeople, all of that good stuff to help our business grow, help us, differentiate a little bit, because especially with door refinishing specifically, all of our competition, which there really wasn't any, they were using spar varnish, and they were having to put plastic up on the door, and we were using quick dry products, and we could handle them within an hour. So that was really our competitive edge. And I want to say our year one, we did close to 2,500 doors, just an insane amount. And that really, really took off. And yeah, man, it was led to cabinet business and all kinds of stuff.
Expand on that a little bit more. Where did y'all go from there?
Well, doors kind of turned into cabinets. We would always get asked, do we do furniture? Do we do cabinets? Do we do anything besides doors? Most people that know me professionally know I like to stick to, one specific thing kind of. So for me, doors, we were doing really well with it, but we kept getting asked so much about cabinets. We started refinishing cabinets. At that time, the espresso dark cabinet was that was the thing.
It was a hot thing at the time.
Yeah. It's not like right now where we see, a lot of whites and opaque colors. This was, everybody wanted dark cabinets.
What year was that?
That was probably 2013, 14.
About 10 years ago or so?
Yeah. And we were really good at it. I mean, there was a lot of people out there that were, not bashing painters in any way, but that is just something that painters weren't doing or didn't know how to do. And with our experience doing all the office furniture, like toning was the main part of it. We would touch up and then tone and clear coat to freshen up this furniture. So going in and making cabinets look espresso, that was gravy for us. And then we started seeing, white cabinets becoming popular. And I still distinctly remember somebody telling me, I want to paint my cabinets white. And I was like, why? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to paint these wood cabinets white? But that became such a big, big thing. And, during that whole process, like I said, my dad left. I had let the doors go to a guy that became my business partner. Social media, again, that was really big for us. I started attracting the attention, I guess, of other business owners, and just getting a lot of messages about, how are you doing this and how are you doing that? And I started posting more. I started traveling a little bit to these training events for the coating manufacturers, or, just soaking up as much knowledge as I possibly could to really, really, position us as not just the premier company or anything like that, but the most knowledgeable. That was my big thing, was always being able to take on anything that came through the shop. Not just not just one specific thing, but we could do furniture, we could do millwork, we could do cabinets, we can do doors if we needed to. Whatever it was, I wanted to be the guy that knew how to do it. And again, I just see such a need for people that can color match and stain match and touch up. And I didn't realize how there's really not very many people out there that can do it, you know? So, yeah, that's what I did.
I think that's about probably around the time you and I met.
Yeah.
I think about 2016 or so, I think was about that time. Was that when your shop was over in Northeast Houston? Yeah.
That's when me and Will, you know, kind of became business partners. So the guy that I was talking about that took over the doors, me and him partnered up. And I guess it was, and that went really well. He had just got out of the Marine Corps and he was running operations. I kept the schedules full. We had, you know, 10 to 14 guys on staff that were, you know, running around doing jobs, and it was good. Hurricane Harvey hit. What year was that?
That was 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
When that happens, you know, as you know, that especially in our area, it was insane. I mean, people, I can't even describe it. Like people were chasing us with their checkbooks.
Yeah, business picked up,
and there became a massive need for cabinets. You know, it was no longer like I want this. It was I need this, and it wasn't, you know, 1 to 10 people. It was tens of thousands of people. So there was work to be had. We took the work. We opened a showroom selling RTA cabinets. We also, you know, bought a CNC machine, took on another business partner with another company, formed another company that you actually did the website for, Americana Cabinets.
Yep. I was just over there the other day.
Yep, which is now one of our customers. And yeah, man, I mean, so long story short, that went well for a little bit, but honestly, we had a falling out. We dissolved the finishing business. It was a really low point for me in my life and in my business career. That same year, I think it was 2018, I was fortunate enough to win or receive a 40 under 40 award with Woodworking Network. And while I was there, I made it a point to go and speak with different manufacturers of products that I had been using in my own business and see if we could, you know, kind of leverage some of our social media following with the product sales side. And that was really my goal, is see if I can come up with some deals with the manufacturers and help them launch their product and move me away from, you know, the actual shop work and doing the finish work.
Yeah. You mentioned, you know, working with manufacturers, helping them launch products. As long as I've known you, you know, you've had a pretty good relationship with some companies, you know, that supply tools and, you know, coatings to the finishing industry. Can you tell me how you've gotten some of those relationships going?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, in 2018, it was IWF Atlanta. I had met the Feria family from Surf Prep before at a trade show, and I approached them. You know, I kind of spoke briefly. I actually needed something from them. It's kind of funny. I had mailed something and I was waiting for them to send me something back that I hadn't gotten. So that kind of started the conversation. And then me and Skylar Feria's daughter, Hannah, we kicked up a conversation, and I kind of told her, I said, hey, you know, this product is different. And I was speaking very specifically about the 3x4 electric sander, and even more specifically about the foam abrasives, because at that time, you know, in 2018, as far as like Facebook groups go about finishing, nobody knew about AWFS or IWF or even a lot of these industrial manufacturers. And same could be said for the manufacturers. They didn't know all of this stuff was going on, and they didn't know that there was thousands of people. So I looked at it as a great opportunity, man. And me and Hannah worked out a deal where, I don't know, I already had the tools, I already had the abrasives, but I said, I'm going to do just a couple of really simple clips, post them into groups and kind of see where it goes. And I did. And I mean, just like I knew it would, it took off.
The response was great.
It was amazing. Me and Hannah got on a phone call, and she got Skylar involved. I hadn't really been talking to him much at all. Next thing I know, they were booking me a flight, to come out to California. We started strategically kind of working on a plan to introduce the product to this market.
Yeah.
What we call the bucket and brush market, right? It's hopefully nobody takes offense to that, but that's just how we kind of referenced it. And most people on the industrial side reference it. And yeah, Skylar picked me up from the airport. We had a pretty good conversation, and we ended up doing a Facebook Live. I think the way we did it is we gave a tool away.
Let's say I thought there was a giveaway.
Yeah, there was a giveaway.
Yeah,
and it just, man, it never slowed down. And Surf Prep actually made me an offer to go work for them as their national sales and marketing director. It worked out great. Great family. Everybody that's ever met them knows them. They're nicest family you can meet. They opened my eyes to just an enormous amount of opportunity that I hadn't even, really recognized, and real grateful. And I also was working and had, started working with Apollo, John DeRock over at Apollo. And John DeRock's office is only like an hour from Surf Prep's office. So, I think it was one of the very first times I was at Surf Prep, John drove up there, and, we all kind of worked together. We're like, let's do these events. Let's do these classes. I was also working with, I had a lot of stuff going on, man. I was really trying to figure out what I was going to do after, the dissolution of the business. And it just all kind of fell in place. I got introduced to Renner. I had known of Renner. I had used some of Renner's products for doors. Their exterior clear, which product we sell a lot of now. But they showed a ton of interest in working with me specifically. They brought me out to Charlotte. They ran me through, 4 days, I think it was, in the Scheffler lab of just everything, every coating. I told them, if I'm going to get behind this, I need to know everything about it. And man, they just, I said, I have to be involved. I have to be involved with this. It's so different. And I was, and, again, I did take a job with Surf Prep as their sales and marketing director, but they allowed me to work with everybody because it was to everybody's benefit. At this time, when I went to go work for Surf Prep, I think they had 172 Facebook likes. Yeah. I don't think they even had an Instagram.
Yeah.
Their social media presence wasn't there. And in all honesty, they weren't doing the direct-to-consumer program. As all through distribution, but nobody knew who those distributors were. So, for me, it worked out beautifully, man. It really did. And I just learned a tremendous amount from everybody and the experiences. And I got the opportunity to meet, just hundreds of different painting contractors and go to, all the trade shows and events, and it was great. Great.
One of the things that this podcast, hopefully we can do, is, educate people, to take the knowledge that you've had from, everything that you've experienced professionally, and, possibly, when we're talking to other professionals in the industry later on, we just want to help, right? Mm-hmm. And anybody who's willing to listen. So can you kind of give an idea of, your thoughts on educating and kind of some of the things you're doing to help that?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Education is key really to success in this business. What's really unique about our industry is that we do not actually have any true industry standards. And when I say that, what I mean is, if you think about automotive refinishing, okay, collision repair and refinishing, they have industry standards, they have industry organizations, just like, here in Texas, oil and gas is a big thing. You get a lot of guys that are NACE certified in coatings, right? I mean, there's actual industry standards. In our industry, there's not, right? So it leaves a lot of room for misinformation and just tribal knowledge. And especially with social media, I mean, I think the best advice I could possibly give people is try your hardest not to get all of your information from social media, right? Utilize it for what it is, take bits and pieces of it, but you really, really, you have to understand that the best information is truly going to come from your manufacturers and your distributors. And I say that because their experience isn't coming from one singular, position. It's coming from the feedback of all of their customers as a whole, right? And when you think about like a coatings company as an example, they have thousands of end users that are doing and using different stuff in different environments and, with different employees. And when you're around that, you start to learn really, really, really fast how important it is to do what the manufacturers are saying and not overcomplicate it. I see a lot of people struggling because they're confused. I hear it from people. I mean, as a distributor ourselves, we sorry about that. The phone was ringing. But yeah, as a distributor ourselves, I mean, we see it every single day. People, I mean, I literally just took a call from a guy that was like, hey, I'm doing this. And I read online, somebody told me to put, vinyl sealer. And I just told him, I said, I can't help you if you do that. And he was like, well, why not? And I said, because vinyl sealer has horrible adhesion. And it doesn't do the best in wet areas. And there's really, truly no reason for you to do it. But he kind of had his mindset that he was going to do it that way based on, some information that he had gotten from some random person. And, I think it's really important. That's what we do, I mean, on a daily basis. I mean, we had Black Diamond painting in here earlier. We were teaching her and help her how to tone, and I mean, it's right, we deliver it correctly, and we want nothing more than to see our customers succeed, through the education that we're trying to provide.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but, there's a lot you can read from a book or on Facebook or, wherever. But I mean, how much of this comes down to just doing it, getting hands-on and learning it, just like you have your whole experience, I mean, I mean, you could read a recipe in a book, in a cookbook, but until you actually do it and maybe get it wrong a couple times, and then that's the only way really to get the best expertise, I'd imagine. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, it's exactly right. I mean, I tell people, you really have to fuck some things up, like for real, to learn from it, because there's so many variables, especially when we start talking about refinishing. There is no way me or anyone else can guarantee that stuff will not go wrong. I mean, stuff is going to go wrong. Where it really counts is the person that knows how to fix it, right? If you are dealing and working with a distributor that knows how to fix stuff, you're in the right hands, because I can't tell you, I mean, even my distributor, my distributor that I worked with, they were phenomenal. I mean, they got me connected with some of my mentors that I worked with, and that's Wood Finishers Depot. Now we're kind of competitors with each other, but I'm always and will always be grateful for what they exposed me to, and they would always be able to help us when we fuck something up. And that's where it really matters. That is truly where it matters, because I tell my customers all the time, when something goes wrong, do you really think that somebody on Facebook is going to help you fix it? The answer is no. It's no. That is the answer. And so yeah, you're spot on with that, man.
You've been doing this a long time, and I'm sure you have a lot of valuable information that you could give to pretty much anybody, right? Mm-hmm. But as far as someone who's just getting into finishing, maybe it's a new entrepreneur, or maybe it's a kid just like you when you were getting into this. What's some advice or some something you can tell them that would maybe help them out?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The probably the best advice I think I could give somebody is keep in mind you are running a service company, and the service aspect needs to remain at the forefront of it. I see our customers included, a lot of people that come to us specifically are coming to us because they want to use the best products, and that's great. We want to sell you the best products, but we also want you to understand that you shouldn't be marketing yourself as, here's a better way to put it. I ask this question a lot because, as you know, I'm in front of dozens of entrepreneurs on a weekly basis that own painting companies, custom home builders, contractors, all of it, right? And you've never met a contractor in your life that tells you they're bad at what they do.
Yeah.
Ever. You will never see a business that says we're just okay. We're okay. We're it's not like that. Everybody's the best.
Every business in every industry says that.
Yeah. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. So you going into a customer's home and saying, we're the best because we use this. Number one, that customer has no clue what you're talking about. And it's really, really funny because I am taking a class myself, and I was in that class yesterday, and the lady just so happened that was sitting in front of me. She's an interior designer, and we were having a conversation about different stuff, and she was on her phone, and I had her send me a screenshot. I'm going to pull it up here, but she made a comment about a guy that was going to be doing epoxy floors in a cigar bar that she is designing. And the message, I'm pulling it up here, to her, it said, we do epoxy, 3D effect, and marble effect, and you have no problem for price. We do Italian, modern, minimal plaster floor. And she looked up from her phone when she received that, and she said, what the fuck does that mean? And I said, I have no idea. And she goes, this guy's acting like I know his business. Mm-hmm. And I said, and you don't, right? And she's like, no. And she's like, and she literally told me she didn't want to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Because she had no idea what he was talking about, right? And that, again, going back, that is the best advice I can give you. Focus on your customer and the service you're providing. Use these products for the benefit of your customer. Mm-hmm. If they're fast dry and fast cure, that means you're giving the kitchen back. Like, nobody wants you moving into their house. They could care less how many times you're going to sand it or what you're going to do. Deliver a good product. Do it efficiently, Communicate properly, and it'll work out. It will. But it's when you confuse people and you start talking about, things that might be relevant in the groups that you're in. I promise you, your customer doesn't give a shit about that. They just want to know how long it's going to take, how much does it cost, and am I confident that you are going to deliver a good finished result?
Yeah.
Right. Which doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You can show them a sample. You can tell them you use industrial wood coatings. You can give them a good timeline and a fair price. And I promise that company's going to scale up.
All right, man. That's great advice. Pretty much for anybody, I think, not just for entrepreneurs, but I think anybody could really use that, in their business. And it looks like we're getting out of time here. We're going to wrap it up. So for future episodes of this, right, you're going to be on every episode. We're both going to be here.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I think the goal is to have some, industry professionals, other contractors, maybe some of our customers that we have now, manufacturers, reps, things like that. I think you even mentioned you want to have your grandpa on.
Yeah.
We can plan that for the next episode or real soon. So
yeah, no, for
it'd
sure.
be really interesting to talk to him and hear his experience, everything that he's brought to this. So, you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No, man, I'm excited. I want to see this grow. I think it's really important, that people hear these stories. I tell a lot of people all the time. I mean, we have customers that are just doing phenomenal work that you have no clue who they are, right? They don't have social media profiles. They're not trying to be influencers. We get the opportunities, to go into facilities and just see amazing things from people that are running amazing businesses. So I look forward to telling people's stories, us together with this podcast. So I think it's going to be great, man.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be fun, and hopefully we can, really take this somewhere.
Yeah.
So, all right, we appreciate y'all joining us. We'll talk to you next time.
Later.
I go hard in them paint. Leave you stankin'. What the thinking? I won't die for it.